What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another NHL DFS puck drop. This is Hold the Door DFS at Fantasy Sports Insight. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If not, hit that like button. Let's get into Monday's slate here. So I am going to share my screen. I am going to a little bit different format. I am going to use that similar format to they use with the live videos here. This is thanks to FantasyLabs. They have a free tool for NHL that shows the implied live totals and the money lines, and it changed throughout the day. So a great tool. Thank you, FantasyLabs, for this tool. So I'm just going to quickly sort the implied totals, and it's really clear and obvious that there is one team with a much higher implied live total than anybody else, and that's the Maple Leafs. So Maple Leafs with a 3.8 implied total. Then the rest is really low, honestly. So the odds aren't really going to guide too much of my build, other than this game right here, which is 6.5 total. And then biggest favorites here, we can take a look at this. Maple Leafs minus 173, Islanders minus 157, the Blues minus 156, and Coyotes minus 150. I also like the Wild minus 144. And the Avalanche are favored here against the Golden Knights. So we use the money line a little bit more than we can use the implied totals, just because they're so close. So let's get into the slate. Now, we're just going to be continuing to go over this time and time again all season, right? And the results of playing these studs have not given us any reason to not do it, right? So like Matthews or McDavid or McKinnon, haven't really choked enough to be like, had bad games. You're like, gosh, I should have built it more balanced, right? Austin Matthews with 75 points in his last 2 games is just insane, right? And it's, I don't know, and then he had another 36-point game against Ottawa here. So and I don't think the matchup is that much different than like Montreal. Obviously Ottawa is like the best matchup you can get, but I still think this is a great matchup at home. So Austin Matthews at 9,000 I think will be really popular once again. Nathan McKinnon finally had that little breakout game against Vegas. And then they had the game that was outdoors, obviously, that didn't work out, that didn't play, or after the first period. So I think he'll actually go pretty low owned relative to what he normally would because of Austin Matthews' form, but I love both of them here. I think the matchup is better for Toronto, as we saw in the implied total. So let's quickly just go over a couple centers that I like. I don't really love the center position pay up, the kind of that upper middle pay up. I much prefer going down to like Braden Shen, who's on the cover, having a phenomenal season, 9 goals in 18 games, probably a little bit over his like projected mark, but he's always been a really talented skater and scorer. It's just he doesn't put the puck on net enough. And I think this year they're just relying on him that much more, and he has been producing. So 6,300 in a matchup at home against the Kings. I really like Braden Shen. Under that same umbrella, I really like Trocheck, another player who I think has just evolved a ton this year. Obviously, he was great with Florida, but last year wasn't amazing, and his role has just increased. He's got a goal in his last 3 games. But he's got points in his last like 7 or 8 games. So love him here. And on the matchup, the matchup isn't like the best, but I still like Carolina here. I think like sometimes you overlook teams like that just because like the matchup isn't like the best, but Carolina ripped apart Tampa Bay the other night too. So Kopitar, really just hard to ignore how productive he's been. Double digits in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Just always on the ice. So if there's goals happening, there's, like a 60% chance that he was on the ice for one of those. So Couturier is decent. I really like O'Reilly still here. O'Reilly is not somebody that I usually love in DFS, but he is a little bit similar to Shen, where he's going to play in Kopitar, where he's going to play like 20 minutes plus, and gives him a lot of goal and assist equity just because he's on the ice so much. So like him as well at 5,900. Sebastian Aho, the form is finally back. He's just been crushing it lately. We know he was way too talented, so 5,800 is just still an insanely cheap price tag, probably the lowest you're going to see all season. And then my last one in the mid-range here that I like is Elias Lindholm. Another guy who's been playing 20 minutes ice time. I think last game was skating with Johnny Gaudreau too, with Monahan out, which I think just increases his ability to score from a DFS perspective. So I like him in a matchup with Toronto that I think that we're just going to see goals in general. All right. Eriksson Ek is in play. I like him. Pejao is fine at 4,700. Getzlaf is finally getting the price bump back up. Not even having really that great of games. I don't know why they're like going to slowly increase his price, but kind of a pass for me. I liked him when he was cheaper. Tyler Johnson is a solid value play. Eric Stahl at 3,500 is a nice value play. Not really sure why I only got 10 minutes of ice time last game, but he's solid. Sundqvist, I talked about, I think, on the last time the Blues played. He's on the top power play unit, I think skating on the third line. So he's a fine value play and getting exposure to the Blues. Wenberg is solid value. Travis Boyd's been on the top power play unit for Toronto and has paid off a couple games here and there. Not somebody that I like love in cash because he just doesn't have a floor at all, but being on that top power play is nice. That's about it. Velarde for LA has been viable as well. So let's get to the winger position. Stamkos, Marner, Pacioretty, Rantanen, all are really great plays. Like Marner's form is insane. He's probably my favorite out this group. I just think that more the ownership is going to shift to the pay up centers than these guys right here. So, and what I do really love is going down just a tier and going to one of my favorite plays of the entire slate is Kevin Piala. Early on in the season, he was shooting a ton. He still is shooting a ton, 10 shots on goal in his last two games, but just wasn't getting the luck that the puck was going in, right? And now when you see 3 goals in his last 2 games, I think he just is too good of a player. Likes to shoot too much to not target him in a matchup with the leaky San Jose Sharks. So really like him at that price. Love Connor Garland as well at home in a matchup against Anaheim. Moving down a little bit further, Mike Hoffman, another one of the Blues players that I really like, has a goal and 3 assists in his last 2 games, but getting that top power play run and top line run where he's not stuck on the third line. He's stuck on the third line a lot this season. So I like him there. Gabriel Landeskog, has been like really, he's been hurt this year, but when he has been healthy, has not been very good. So I don't know. I think you could GPP stack him with Rantanen and McKinnon, assuming they're all on the same line together. Huberdeau has been in great form, so he's nice at 5,300. Down here, I really like Niederreiter. All of Carolina's has been playing so well, but like he has been insane. 17, 29. You had the 4.5, but 11.5, 8, 8.5, 19, 14. So Niederreiter is skating with, I think still skating with Aho and McGinn. So really like him. Dustin Brown, I like as well. He's been in great form. Jumbo Joe all the way up to 4,700. But he's been kind of paying off. He had that game where he had, a goal. He had 2 games of the last 4 where he's had a goal. So that's pretty crazy. But Kaprizov, I like at 4,400. He's got, a point in his last, 3 out of 4 games, 4 out of 5 games, but shooting the puck a lot more too as well. So I really like him at 4,400. Raquel, I still like, even though he's been kind of like dudding it when I want to play him, but he's just too good and he's putting up too many shots on goal and high danger chances that eventually those are going to convert. I think the problem is just that Anaheim's other players are so bad. It doesn't help out his case. I'm recording this super early this morning. That's why I got some yawns. But Neckus I like. Again, I like. Moving down here further, Phil Kessel's really cheap for his price tag, honestly. Fogelli at 3,500 is definitely still in play. Tuck is in play. Day in, day out, probably my favorite value is still Vetrano. He's always like got, like this he had an assist and 2 shots on goal, 4 shots. He's just an offensive minded player. So for the price tag, even on the third line, I really like him. Greenway, Skinner, Zuccarello, I think is going to be a really popular value play, especially after having a goal and assist and then having another great matchup. He's on the top line with Fiala and Eriksson Ek. So I really like him at 2,900. Troy Terry continues to skate on the top line as well. So I like him at 2,900. Probably missing a couple guys down here, but Barbashev, let's see where did his price go. Not really sure where he went. Oh, he's injured. 3,100. Never mind that. Okay. Defense. Hedman, fade for me. Burns, fade. Hamilton, he's okay. I like Hamilton, obviously. Just the matchup isn't amazing, and you're still paying the same price that you would pay for him in a much better matchup. So that's where I get a little bit hesitant. Morgan Riley, I like, but I still think he's goal or assist dependent. Shea Theodore, I love, per usual. His DFS production has actually been down, since he came back from his injury, but I still think that he's going to come back into form. So I still think Pietrangelo, for the price being a little bit cheaper, is probably safer in cash, but I think the upside is with Shea Theodore. Jakub Chychrun, I really like, still at 6,100. He's just doing a lot of stuff on the ice. Drew Doughty has also had a really nice run of recent 4 games out of his last 5 in double digits, but actually starting to put the puck on net more and has some decent assist equity because he's out there just like 28 minutes of ice time a game. So Falk is still in another smash spot. I think, people will hop off him after a couple of poor games here, but look at the time on ice, 28, 27, 26, in a great matchup with LA at home. So got to like him there. Devin Taves has been just insane lately as well. The peripherals are great. 6 blocks. He's giving you already like a 5-point implied floor with those numbers, and then you add in any goal or assist. He's been really, really good. Ekblad, I like at 5,100. I think that's too cheap. Pulak, I think, is too cheap. I like him in a good matchup with Buffalo. And I do like the Islanders. I kind of talked over them, but they're always like more of a GPP stack to me, is like Andersley and Barzal and Pulak. I like that stack. Jakub Slavin has been really good recently as well for Carolina. Had a goal the other night, but just puts a lot of shots on net and is really active defensively. Hiskinen is in play. Ferrero. All the wild defensemen are really in play, like Dumba, Suter, and Spurgeon. Spurgeon 4K, I really like. He likes to shoot the puck. Pesci at 4,100. So there's a lot of good plays here at the defensive position. You can get down here. Cam Fowler, I like at 3,400. TJ Brody, Alexiak. Yeah, there's not too many things I love down this low, but hopefully we get some value coming out. Mayfield has been a really good cash punt. Pilech. Yeah, but I think you get some good value with like Yandel, Graves, Spurgeon down in this range that you don't feel like you have to go that low. And with potentially Hampus Lindholm out, that boosts up somebody like Cam Fowler. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to another NHL DFS puck drop. I will have all of the core plays for every slate, tiers, showdown, and classic in our NHL Premium Discord channel. So thanks again for listening, and see you guys later.